Hello, I am so glad that you and I get these next couple minutes together and we can just talk about things that you can do to help take your life to the next level. On last week, we started talking about strategic living. And yes, it's a new year, it's a new season, it's a new day. However, it's the same you. And unless we get a plan in place to do some things different than what we did last year, you're going to end up with the same thing that you had last year. But I'm believing with every new beginning, we get a fresh start to do things differently. So that's what this is about. So we're going to pick up today with strategic living part 2, but I'm not going to leave you hanging in case you missed last week. I want to give you a couple of highlights from last week. We talked about there being 3 different types of people. We talked about being stuck people, those people that are in quicksand and don't feel like they're going anywhere. They're just kind of hanging out in nothingness. We also talked about those striving people, people that are pursuing something different, want to do something different, striving, they're trying, maybe not 100% certain on where they're going or how they're going to get there, but they're striving. And then you have those people that are starving. Those are the people that are ready to get going. They want to move with power and passion into every single thing that they can be and do everything that they were destined to do, and they are starving. They're starving to be fed so they can pour out. They're starving to learn so that they can grow and they can develop and they can get moving with power and with passion. And we talked about current locations, on identifying which one of those people you fall into today. And we also talked about the necessary steps on how to get from there to that next place. Because regardless if you're stuck or striving or starving, there's always that next level. And so we kind of closed out last week talking about what you needed to do. And I gave a couple different analogies. We talked about the difference between goal setting and wishing and wanting. You know, goal setting comes with a timeline and it comes with a plan. Wishing and wanting comes with a whole bunch of talk and very little walk. And I know a lot of people wishing they could do this and wanting to do this, and year after year after year, they're ending up in the exact same place they've started because they've not put any goals, they've not put any meat around it, and so they're starving in that process. 2 points that I want to highlight from last week was number 1, good intentions without a good strategy leads to poor results. I'm going to repeat that again. Good intentions without a good strategy leads to poor results. You don't like what you got to change it. You don't like the results, you got to change it. You don't like what the end result is and the whatever, change it. So having great intentions, you know, I can have an intention all day long that I want to lose weight. But if I'm talking about wanting to lose weight while I'm putting down a second piece of cheesecake, that's a problem. I'm not going to get the results that I want. Good intentions alone aren't going to do it. You need to have those intentions and you need a strategy wrapped around it so that you can get what you want to accomplish. And the second thing was victory does not come by accident. And yes, I'm a believer. And I believe there are promises and there's so many things that have been purchased for us to enjoy. However, it doesn't just come by accident. You know, one of my favorite books talk about renewing our minds. We got to know what we have access to. Then we got to walk it out. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But this all kind of laid the foundation for what we're going to be talking about today. So we're just going to pick up where we left off. If you're interested in getting that series, check out my website. We can definitely get that to you because I believe that this is going to be some really, really good material that anyone who desires to do anything in their life to make it look different, in order to be different, to achieve different things, can use some of this material and they'll be able to get there. This week, if I had to title what this lesson is called, it's called Build a Bridge. Yep, that's exactly what I said. Build a bridge. And I want to read something to you. And I want you to let this marinate a little bit because if you're in a corporate arena or you run businesses or you're in meetings for your office, you often talk about these types of things. But if you're not in that arena, then you may not understand how to take it and personalize it for your life. So I'm going to read this just to kind of get us all on the same page. In business, profit is defined as a financial benefit when the revenue gained from a business activity exceeds the expense. In business, profit is defined as a financial benefit when the revenue gained from a business activity exceeds the expenses. So, yeah, we're not talking about a business right now, but I want us to be able to take that and parallel that into your life. If you were to look into the mirror of your life right now, are you running a profitable life? If you were to personalize it, or is everything that you're putting in, all the energy, all the time, all the efforts, all the money, all the resources, everything that's going into building your life right now, is it profitable? Are you satisfied? Are you content? Are you moving toward anything? Are you living in a state of fulfillment? Or are you just going through the motions? Do you feel like you're always striving, and never achieving? All the activities that you're putting yourself into, are they netting you a return? Are you just stuck doing the same thing over and over again? Just going through the motions, just playing the game, just maintaining. Is that you? Years ago, we had an Oreo named hamster named Oreo, excuse me. And of course his name was Oreo because he was black and white. And I remember this thing would get on this wheel and it would just start going and going and going and going and going and going. And mind you, it was old hamster, but it just kept going and going. And it would look back at me as if to say, I need you to get me off of this thing. I need you to push the stop button. I need you to do something different for me, because just play with me a little bit. That thing was just going so fast, and it would just keep going and on and on and on. And I would look at that crazy hamster and say, I did not put you on the wheel. I can't take you off the wheel. He's in the cage. And he's just going. He stepped onto that wheel. He started it cycling. He kept it cycling by going through the same motions and going through the same process. And then he wanted me to take him off. Truth be told, that's how a lot of us are living our lives. We're caught up in this rut. We're caught up in this cycle. We're caught up in this process of disappointment and frustration and shame and guilt and sadness and every other thing that you can think of. And then we're looking around to somebody else to get us off. We're looking for somebody else to hit the stop button and to pause it so that we can step out. And I just want to tell you the same thing I told Oreo. I did not put you on that wheel. Your parents, your spouse, your children did not put you on that wheel. You made a conscious step and a conscious effort to put yourself in this Ferris wheel called life. And nobody can help you get out of it but you. It's not anybody else's responsibility. A lot of time I deal with young people, and with young people, I get a little frustrated because some of them are trying to make steps toward better things, but they have home lives that are totally contradictory. So we can speak life to them, and we can help them set goals, and we can get them moving forward. But then they go home, and the home life is jacked up. There's no boundaries. There's no food. There's no power. And we're telling them to believe and to go and to do and to strive, but their environment is a hindrance. When I talk to grown people, you know what? The circumstances that we've created for ourselves, yeah, there may have been a day where we could blame other people, but that gets to a point where we have to take a look in the mirror and we have to own what we see. We have to acknowledge that this is where I am, and it's up to me if I stay here or if I'm going to choose to do something different. As an adult, we have the responsibility and we have think about it, we have the obligation to own our own lives. No, our lives are not our own because we've been bought with the price, but it is our job to walk this thing out and move toward what we need to move toward. The only person in your life that has the power to do anything about where you are is you. The only person who can make changes for you. I'm a woman of faith. Yes, I am. And I believe that everything that I need to live a successful life was deposited on the inside of me when I came into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You can't separate that in any part of my life. So I believe that when I received Jesus as Lord and Savior of my life, He brought every part of Him into me. And I received all the faith that I would ever need. All the joy, all the peace, all the power, every single thing that I would ever need to walk a life out in victory. It came with me through that personal relationship. Now it is my job to study. It's my job to discover what all that is and to walk it out and to figure out what that looks like for me, because every one of us have a different goal and different plans and different things we want to accomplish. But every single one of us are people of value that God needs to do something for Him in this earth, or we would not be here. Anything that we need, anything that we must have to walk this thing out, I believe is already deposited on the inside of you. And it's just got to be mined out. When you think about things that are of value, pearls, you don't walk along the beach and just see pearls hanging out. No, pearls are tucked away on the inside of a clam. Gold has to be mined. Diamonds have to be discovered. So the purposes of God, I use those analogies, but the purpose that God has for you and the things that you're supposed to be accomplishing and doing in your life, they've already been deposited on the inside of you. Before there was a you, there was a purpose. I just believe before you were a thought in your mom's belly or even in your dad's mind. Before you were a thought to them, God had a purpose for you. I believe that he had a purpose and then he created you around it because he knew what would be needed so that he could get that purpose fulfilled in the earth. And I believe that type of potential is on the inside of us. So none of us should live defeated. What that looks like for all of us is different, but we are responsible for discovering that. So then my question to you is, what's keeping you from moving forward in this discovery process? If you realize that, and I'm just going to get spiritual for a moment, the same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives on the inside of you if you're a born again believer. If you know that victory is yours, if you understand what the word of God says about you, then why is it that you're not moving forward in that process? What is it that has made you buy the lie that average is okay for you? What is it that makes you think getting by is good enough for you? What is the disappointment from your past that keeps revisiting your future and your present that says that you can't and that you won't, that you're not good enough? What is it that keeps telling you that you can't lose weight? What is it that says you can't have a good marriage? What is it that says you can't provide for your family, that you can't find a job? What is it that says you can't go back to school? What is it that's telling you that you cannot overcome to become? What is that thing? What is it? Identify the thing that's keeping you a prisoner in your own life. I don't know what that thing is for you, but I know what it was for me. And I still have to battle this occasionally. For me, it was fear. It was fear of the unknown. What if I tried this and it didn't work? Or what if I tried it and it did work? So however I looked at that thing, fear was trying to keep me a prisoner. For some of you, it's shame. For some of you, it's guilt. For others, it's a severe case of excusitis. Yes, excusitis. Let me tell you how I define excusitis. Whenever you feel the urge to stretch outside of your comfort zone and to do something different, to try new things, to set new goals, a major case of excusitis covers you. And what it does, it brings back thoughts of every reason that you shouldn't even try and that you couldn't do it. The only way to overcome a severe case of excusitis is to build a bridge and get over it. Build a bridge and get over it. Let me think about this. When you think about a bridge, every bridge starts at point A. And when you get on point A, you are fully confident that you're going to make it to point B. There's a designated place that you're trying to get to, even if it is across the water or across the land. For some reason, when you start at A, you are aiming to get to B. And somewhere in between point A and point B is this thing called distance. It's this thing called distance. It could be short. It could be long. I don't know the distance, but every time I get on a bridge, I immediately know that it's crossable or I would never even embark upon it. If I go to the airport in Raleigh, I can purchase a ticket and go to any location that has an airport that's receiving airplanes from that airport. If I go in there and if they have an airport, I can get across. Now, mind you, my flight could have a layover here or there. It could be a direct flight. I don't know, but here's what I know. Every ticket I've ever purchased to get from A, it was going to eventually get me to point B. And I couldn't always determine how long the flight would take. I couldn't always determine how much it was going to cost. I never could determine how much it was going to cost because I normally had to pay more than I wanted to pay, and it normally took longer than I wanted to get there, which kind of is this process in life. But I knew when I left Raleigh or I left Greensboro, if I was going to Ohio, if I was going to California, wherever I was going, when I loaded up on A, and I got on with my bags, my next stopping place was going to be that location that I had planned for. And when you think about your life, when you think about who you are, when you get started today can be your point A. For every one of us, it can be our point A. You have to determine what that ending point, that B spot looks like for you, or what that C spot looks like for you. And then you got to build a bridge. You have to build a bridge to get from this place to that place. And you got to have a by any means necessary attitude. I can't stay here in lack anymore. I can't stay here in frustration anymore. I can't stay here in bad marriageville. I can't stay here in depression no more. You have to figure out how to load up. I'm encouraging you. Pack your bags, get all your goodies, get the things that you need, and make up your mind. Decide today that you're going from the place that you are to the place that you need to get to. I am encouraging you to build a bridge. You got to build a bridge. You got to get over all the reasons, all the excuses, all the hindrances, all the stumbling blocks, everything that you have used, that the enemy has used, that life has used. I don't care who the responsible party is. You can take authority today and build a bridge from this place and get to that place that you desire to go. The responsibility is yours. And you can sit here and say, Keisha, that's wonderful and that sounds good, yada, 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 but you don't know my story. You know what? Here's what I know. Everybody listening to me can sing a sad story. All of us, I don't know if you like country music or if you like blues, you can sing a sad song. The question is, are you okay with singing that for the rest of your life? I think you ought to change the station. If you're not liking what's being broadcasted, you're not liking the results, change the station. Build a bridge and get over it. And today I'm just going to give you a couple tips. I'm not going to sit here and try to teach the whole message to you, but I want you to just get started. I want you to at least get the gas in the car. At least want you to start packing a bag. At least want you to call the airport. At least want you to get started doing something. Do not let 2016 catch you sitting down doing absolutely nothing. I want you to get started. I want you to build a bridge. A couple steps, and I made them all start with D, because I know we sometimes get a little amnesia and we forget things, but I figured if every one of them started with the D, then maybe you could get a little rhythm going, you could get a little momentum going, and you'd be able to recall them later. The first one is determination. Write that down. If you're sitting there and you got a pen and a paper, write it down. Quit trying to remember stuff. You're not going to remember it next week. Life's going to come in the way and you're going to forget it. So the first D is determination. Determine what you want. Determine what you want. Determine why you want it. What is it that you want? Why is it that you want it? What's going to motivate you to move from where you are to get started on that? Determination. Number 2, description. What will be required to accomplish this? Begin to describe the process. I believe goals are just describers. They are the things that you're going to have to do. You're describing the roadmap on what it's going to take for you to get there. Begin creating a description of what the process looks like for you. And when I tell people, when you set goals, make them smart. Most people know what that means, but they don't do it. And I'm going to remind you, smart goals are specific. They're measurable. They're attainable. They're relevant. And they're time sensitive. They're specific. You know what? I want to lose weight. How much weight? I want to eat healthier. How? What? Be specific. Are they measurable? I got some big goals that I'm working on now between now and the next 60 days. I have timelines on what I'm doing each week, where I want to be at the end of the month. I'm doing those things because I need to see measured growth. I'm a human, and I love to say I never need to see progress, but that's a lie. I need to know that I'm making progress. Are they attainable? I don't need to set goals to be blonde-haired and blue-eyed. That is not attainable for me. That isn't a goal. What is attainable? What's something that you really can do that's possible for you? That's in the scope of who you are with the resources that you have and the time that you're setting. Make sure they're attainable. Make sure they're relevant. Do they make sense? Do they have purpose? If they don't tie into your why and into what, you're not going to continue with them. And you need to make sure they're time bound. I tell people all the time, don't tell me you have a goal and it doesn't have any dates associated with it. That's not a goal, that's a wish. Goals have a timeline. Goals have a plan. Make sure they're time bound. Number 3, dictation. Yes, I love to write. Write them down. I tell people, when you get these goals and this roadmap is going, don't do all this in your head. You need to get it out of your head and give it someplace to land. You need to say these goals. You need to set these goals. You need to say these goals. Then you need to write them. One of my favorite scriptures says, write the vision, make it plain, run. Why? You need to know what you're aiming for. You need to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. You need to know where you're going. Write the vision, make it plain, run. What are you running toward? The next one is direction. Make an action plan. You know, I love when people set goals all the time and they're so quick to tell you what those goals are, but I tell them to evaluate a little bit further. What are the things that can stop you from doing that? What are the hindrances? What are the obstacles that you've got to overcome? Why is it that when you started this thing last time you didn't finish? So what were the challenges? What's your plan for, eating? Let me just use that as an example. What's your plan for Christmas Day when there's 6 pies and 7 cakes and 2 puddings? Are you taking that day off, or are you putting some parameters up about what you're going to eat? Make an action plan. When I'm training for my bodybuilding competitions, and yes, that's what I do, I have a plan. I have to pack my meals. I have to determine when I'm going to cheat. I know how many calories I'm eating each day. I know how much water I'm drinking. I have a plan, because if not, if I leave my home, and somebody starts working my nerves, I'm going to want some pizza. I'm going to want to go to Jersey Mike's and get me a chicken Philly. I'm going to want to do that because I know one of my weaknesses is I'm a natural emotional eater. Something great happens, I want to eat. Something bad happens, I want to eat. So I have to set a plan. I have to be specific with directions on how I'm going to handle this situation when it happens. So I'm not in the moment trying to figure it out. You want to make sure those goals have direction. You also want to make sure you are diligent. Number 5, diligent. Don't quit. Stick with it. Will some goals have to be reset? Absolutely. Are you going to hit every goal first try? Not. Are you going to miss it? Yes. But what's your plan for when that happens? Stick with it. Don't go 2 days into it and say it's not working. You know what? So what? What's the plan? What's your action? Because here's what I know. If you don't set the goal, if you don't do anything, you're going to be in the same place next year, this time, doing the exact same thing that you're doing right now. And then I got to ask you, how's that working for you? How's that working for you? Are you okay with taking the next 365 days with your life and doing what you've already done, get what you've already got, and just be a year older? Are you okay with that? Because if you are, that's okay, if that's what you want. But I'm talking to those people that are saying, that's not good enough for me. I believe my God can do anything but fail, and I believe that with him all things are possible. So I need to be in pursuit of him and all that he's calling me to, all that he's requiring of me. See, here's what I believe. When I leave this world, I want to leave empty. So there's a whole lot of deposits that need to go into me so they can come out of me, so that there's this thing going on long after I'm gone called legacy. And every single one of us are equipped with that. We all have people that we're called to touch. We're called to impact. We're called to make a difference for. Every one of us are men and women of influence. Whether it's positive or negative is completely up to you. But what are you doing? What are you moving toward? I think one of the greatest gifts that my husband and I give our children is they always know we're working toward the next thing. Are we grateful and thankful for all that God has blessed us with? Absolutely. But we're not going to let grass grow up under our feet, because when God has blessed us with this, then here's what we know. There's still more ground to cover. We're not going to sit back and just say, okay, it is well. No, God has equipped us because we're moving forward and we're doing more for him. So I want to challenge you today. I want to challenge you. Let me repeat those D's to you, because some of you just getting your ink pen. And this is good stuff, and it's worth writing down. Number 1, helping you build this bridge so you can get over this case of excusitis. I'm helping you build a bridge so you can move forward. I'm helping you build a bridge so 2016 will be a year of breakthrough and transformation for you. That 2016 dreams will come true for you. And I'm not telling you this because I read this in a book. I'm telling you the things that have worked for me. Am I where I want to be? Not yet. But you know what? I'm further than I was last year. Ton of the goals that I made for 2015, they've already come to pass. Why? Because I'm continuously refining them. I'm continuously working on me. I'm continuously becoming a student. Those D's again, to help you build a bridge and get over it. Number 1 is determination. Number 2 is description. Number 3 is dictation. Number 4 is direction. Number 5 is diligence. And for those of you who haven't spent much time with me, y'all know I got my teaching, preaching background in a Baptist church, because everything needs to rhyme or start with the same letter. I believe in those patterns. I'm a youth pastor. So I believe in helping people, put it in a way that people can remember it, because all of this is absolutely null and void if you don't know how to apply it. If you don't take the steps, if you're not willing to do something, I am challenging you. Do something. If you take these few steps, and these aren't big, they're not massive, they're not overwhelming, they're bite-sized pieces on a roadmap. If you're able to take them, you can build a bridge to any place you desire to go. Maybe that bridge includes going back to school. Maybe that bridge includes going to the community college. Maybe that bridge includes changing jobs. Maybe that bridge includes getting a second job. Maybe that bridge includes reading a few more books. Maybe that bridge includes getting a mentor. I don't know what that bridge looks like for you, but I know every one of us need to build one. Every one of us need to build one. And every one of us can build one. I believe that with every ounce of my being. I am so glad that we've had these few moments together. I am so glad that you tuned in to Maximum Impact, because I believe when we do these little things, it's how we're able to have a great impact on the world. It's how we change this world one person at a time. You know, everybody's trying to make big splashes. I believe it's all about making lots of ripples. And if we're making ripples every day, if we're leaving our impact on the people around us every day, then I truly, truly believe that this world is becoming a better place. I want to close by encouraging you to make the decision that says, I can do more. I can be more. I can achieve more. And right now, I'm making those decisions because this is greater than me. It's for my life. It is for those that I'm called to touch. It's for those I'm called to impact. It's for those that are around me. When you realize every one of us can be influential, we can be impactful, we can be difference makers. I believe all of us, every one of us, are called to be change agents. This is how you and I get the ball rolling. This is how we move from where we are to where it is we need to go. These are the little steps that we take, and every one of them, again, start with the D. This is how you and I get to the place that we can truly, truly become all that we are destined to be. This is how you are able to do you to the max. God bless you, and I hope you tune in on next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.